The first 3 chapters of this book discuss the they say stage of writing, in which you devote your attention to the views of some other person or group. In this chapter, we move to the I say stage, in which you offer your own argument as a response to what they have said. In other words, in this chapter, you're going to start to write your rebuttal paragraph, where you're going to start to disagree with what the other people said. So there are 2 ways in which you could write your rebuttal paragraph. You could simply just say, okay, they said this, but I say this. In other words, you could just directly disagree with what they say. So that's option number 1. Number 2 is you could actually agree with what they say. And then number 3 is you concede a little bit to what you agree to, a little bit to what they say before going into your argument. So what are the ways in which you can say this? So there are 3 ways. You can disagree and say, no, your argument is wrong. My argument is right because, okay? So here, if you say no, you would say, Dr. Smith is mistaken because she overlooks whatever it is. Or X's claim that abortion is moral rests upon the questionable assumption that blah, 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 blah. I disagree with X's view that abortion is moral because as recent research has shown, abortion is immoral. Or Dr. Smith contradicts herself. She can't have it both ways. On the one hand, she argues that abortion is moral only if, but on the other hand, she also says, by focusing on the morality of abortion, Dr. Smith overlooks the deeper problem of how telling women how to what to do with their bodies is immoral because women have the right to do whatever they want. So these are different ways, templates in which you can use to disagree with the counter argument. So as you start moving and start rebutting into your rebuttal paragraph, then these are the templates you can say. You can also say, Dr. Smith argues for stricter gun control, saying that the gun rate is on the rise. I agree that the crime rate is on the rise, but I oppose a stricter gun. In other words, here you just use the old-fashioned but. And here they call it the concession. In other words, you concede to the other side, then you go on to your argument. They call it the twist. Okay, it could be a pivot, it could be a twist, or a concession. Either way, so that's one way. Either you totally disagree and just say, but you're right, you're wrong, I'm right. Or you would say, you're a little bit right, but I concede a little bit to what you have to say, but what I have to say is even better. Okay, so that's called a concession, or what they call the twist. Agree but with a difference. I agree that diversity in the student body is educationally valuable because my experience confirms it. Dr. Smith is surely right. Okay, this is more about concession. In other words, you agree a little bit with what they say. However, it's your argument against theirs. So I would say that, or I agree, we just did that one. Okay, so templates for agreeing and disagreeing. Though I can see, so basically in chapter 4, you have 2 sets of templates. Either that person says, I disagree altogether because that person is wrong, and you categorically say that person is wrong, or you concede a little bit to the other side. So here's some more ways in which you're conceding a little bit to the other side, which means you admit, okay, they have some right points. They're right. The other side, they got some, but maybe a couple of their points are right, maybe 2 out of 10, but the rest of the 8 points or whatever, they're wrong. So though I concede that Dr. Smith may be right on A, B, and C, I still insist that my point is. So then it's almost a but it's not a categorical but. X is right, but she seems on more dubious ground when she claims that. While X is probably wrong when she claims that, she is right when she claims that. Whereas Dr. Smith provides some ample evidence that blank, Y and Z research on and on convinces me that instead. So here is a classic way to agree and disagree. So basically, you have two. I actually see it as two ways of doing it. They see it as three ways. I see it as two. You either categorically deny what the other side says, or you concede a little bit to what the other side says. And that's it. Okay? So you either concede or you disagree completely. So I want to see if I can, here, you disagree and you explain why. Here, this is all the templates for you totally disagree. The other side is completely wrong. Okay, so-and-so is mistaken because so-and-so's claim rests upon a questionable assumption. I disagree with, or this author, if you want to avoid this author disagrees with. Dr. Smith contradicts herself, which means Dr. Smith is wrong because. So all of this is when you say, no, that person is absolutely wrong. Then the rest of these are all about concession. Well, the other side is sort of right, but but my argument is still stronger. And the rest of this is about conceding. Though I concede that X so-and-so is right, but so-and-so is right, however. And as soon as you say however, then you go into your argument. So these are different ways in which you can write your rebuttal paragraph, okay? These are all, chapter 4, all are just different ways to write your rebuttal paragraph. In your rebuttal paragraph, you can either totally disagree with your counter-argument paragraph, or you can concede a little bit to the other side. So to me, two ways of looking at your rebuttal. You either write it as a categorical no or a concession. So that is chapter 4 in a nutshell, where they go over different ways in which you can write and templates for which you can start your rebuttal paragraph, where you rebut the other side's argument. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to email me anytime.